All right, and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, probably mostly gentlemen. I don't know if we have any female listeners yet, but if you out there, shout out to you, ladies. Um, Shoot Your Shot podcast is back, episode 10. It feels like it's been longer than that. It feels like it's been more. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
I
hey, we
don't
here.
know. We here, episode
We
10. Let's
here.
let's get it live.
Uh, don't forget, if you haven't already, go to the Facebook. We got the group, sports group on Facebook. We got the IG that's not popping yet, but it will be soon, I promise. We live on Twitch. We live on YouTube. You can email us shootyourshotpod@gmail.com. Don't forget to do that. Hit us with any questions, concerns, whatever you got for us, suggestions. We here. Vic,
Got the YouTube page.
yep. Vic is not here, so you got the Joe and Joe show today. Vic might join us a little later. We don't know. But if he do, he do. If he don't, he don't. For now, you got us, and we got plenty to talk about.
That's right. Busy day. Busy day.
Yep. Usually it's not as jam packed on this day because there's only 2 days, between. But we had some iconic, some legendary shit happen across the globe these past 2 days. So I'm gonna get right into it. The Euros still going on. I'm gonna give y'all a little update on that real quick. But first, I want to talk about the legend, the powerhouse that is Cristiano Ronaldo. If y'all are not familiar with this story, I suggest you check it out in more detail. I think this is just crazy. Just really proves the power that athletes at his caliber really have on this planet. Um, it was a press conference on Monday. Ronaldo had, and there was 2 bottles of Coca-Cola on the stand. He looked at it, immediately got both bottles the fuck up out of there, and then held up a bottle of water, said agua, water only. He's a man that takes care of his body. Yes, I don't got a bottle, but I got a glass today, so I believe in that too. I do like a ginger ale every now and again, though. I'm not gonna front, but
Ain't nothing wrong with
um, so immediately after that happened, I think they said by the next morning, um, Coca-Cola's stock market value sank $4 billion. That's a billion, four of them things, just because Ronaldo don't like Coke. I'm not really into stocks as much as I should be. I'm starting to dabble in it here and there and kind of really understand what it is. But I know that $4 billion for a market of that, Coca-Cola, runs the world. $4 billion is a lot of money, and I know that they are feeling that. And Ronaldo, I don't think really cares that much. I mean, he just kind of did what he wanted to do. A little less of noteworthy. Paul Pogba from the French team. There was a bottle of alcohol-free Heineken, and he's Muslim, so no alcohol consumption. And he took that away and moved it. People were actually a little mad at him for that, but it's like, that's his religion. They were saying, oh, but it wasn't alcohol. He don't want to be associated with nothing that's got to do with alcohol. So, I'm all for that decision. He's going. They still say, well, for what? I mean, unless it's in the contract that those bottles got to stay there, Coke can't do a damn thing. And really, if they did that, that just make them look worse. To be quite
that.
honest, I mean, if anything, then they got to come out with a water that doesn't suck and maybe let the Ronaldo be the face of it or something. But I don't see how they rectify this situation. But really, the real story is just the power that these athletes have. The whole, I know it was a few years ago, but the whole narrative, the shut up and dribble, debate. These players, especially the caliber, or, Ronaldo, LeBron, these dudes have a voice, and their opinions matter to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. I agree.
So,
You know, and it's just crazy how the world we live in would rather feed people the poison, which is Coke, as opposed to empowering something as pure as water.
Yeah.
I hear people say it all the time. I don't like water. I'm like, how could you not like water? Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Those
So
those people who say like they can't tell the difference between water, I don't understand those people. Like I'm very confident that I could tell, yeah, I could blind taste test water and get at least like 8 or 10 or whatever right.
yeah, I mean, if it's shitty water, I'm gonna tell. But like, you probably could fool me with the good stuff as far as like Essentia, Fiji, Evian, stuff like that. Those are good.
Hmm.
But, if
Hmm.
you're going to give me some great value, some Dasani, then I'm a no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh man, Dasani
It's
oh
terrible.
man.
Yeah,
Oh
that water is
God.
terrible.
That's like bottom of the barrel to me. Dasani and the Nestle joints.
Yeah, and that's
I for
yeah,
oof, oof,
yeah,
like nah,
definitely,
keep that away from me. I'd rather
yeah,
dehydrate. Like
yeah. I'd rather go to the
uh,
faucet and use my hands. So,
yeah,
but
I know we've actually had this conversation before. But to let y'all know, just in case our opinion mean anything, Essential Water and Fiji, that's our top two. Um, or
definitely,
that's our top two waters by far
I
for both
don't.
of us.
I try to keep as much as I can and drink as much as I can. And
Yeah, so
we
Essential,
definitely have to.
since you're Fiji, if you're out there listening, send us a case. We'll plug you all day.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Advertising. But
Uh,
that's what's
so
up.
to wrap up the Euros real quick. There's only been a couple of games since I last spoke to you. Finland and Russia. Russia won 1-0. Wales had a real big game against Turkey, 2-0. Italy, my squad, they won 3-0 again against Switzerland.
Good looking.
And yeah, they are looking really good. And they actually mentioned last night they have officially gone, I think now 10 matches without giving up a goal
Uh,
in all competitions. So that's a real good look. And I mean, some people are kind of talking, saying we might be, one of the favorites. So, still a little early, but, we'll see. They got a big game on Sunday against Wales. That'll be a good one. And then we had Ukraine and North Macedonia. That was 2-1 in Ukraine. And then Belgium and Denmark. Denmark, as you all remember, was the team that Christian Eriksen is on. They did a tribute at the 10-minute mark. They kicked the ball out of bounds. Everybody, it was a big ovation for him and those signs and all that. It was an emotional moment for the players for sure. And for everybody watching, they did end up losing 1-2. But Belgium again is a very strong side, and then Netherlands just beat Austria a couple hours ago, and that was a decent game. Kind of what was supposed to happen happened. So that wraps up the Euros. That's it. There'll be more games Tuesday, but in this little 2-day stretch, there's not as many. So hopefully y'all are keeping up. And then we're gonna get right to it with the NBA news because there's been a lot of it. We'll start off with the breaking news. Rick Carlisle has mutually left the Dallas Mavericks after Donnie Walsh mutually left. We found out very quickly that that was, or Donnie Nelson. I said Donnie Walsh, Donnie Nelson. They said it was mutual. He came out right away and said it wasn't mutual. Rick Carlisle is saying that this was his decision, but it sounded like it was more like Luka's decision. But what you think is going on in Dallas? I mean, Rick Carlisle, he's been one of the most tenured coaches out there.
Yeah, but he's been the coach of the Mavs for a long time since
Mm-hmm.
uh, since 2008. He's been there. He's been there. So time for a change for him. Maybe he wants to take a break. Maybe he has another offer on the table. But I don't know. I just think what's going on in Dallas is just a lot of turmoil. You got the Kristaps Porzingis situation going on. You don't know what's going on over there with that. You got is Luka the main guy. Then it was rumored that he may not want to sign long term, so he may be wanting to get out of there soon. I don't know. And then you got Mark Cuban behind everything. To this day, we don't know what kind of guy this is. One minute he's playful, next minute he's serious. So you don't know when he's serious, if he's serious. So it's like,
Yeah,
you don't know what's going on over there. So I look at it as a good move. It was just time for Rick to get on out of there, and you never know. You may see him in Portland or New Orleans.
I I heard Milwaukee. If they move, he's already got it in Milwaukee, but who knows?
That'll be a decent spot for him. If I'm hearing if Milwaukee don't get past Brooklyn, Budenholzer is definitely out of there, and
Out of there.
yeah, they'll be looking for another coach. So that'll be a good move for Carlisle. He's definitely a coach that likes defense as well as offense, and that's what Milwaukee is lacking. And Milwaukee is lacking that change of voice. You know what I'm saying? It's someone that's going to tell them to do different when the same usual stuff just isn't working. And that's what Budenholzer is doing. He's doing the same things over and over and over again, and it's just not working.
Yeah, I think Milwaukee's problem is they are a team that is built to be a slow, like grind out pace type team, but they want to try to run. And when they try to run, that's where they get in trouble. That's when Giannis gets all those offensive fouls that he gets all the time. Middleton is not a fast dude. Drew Holiday is better, slow under control. I think Rick Carlisle would be a perfect fit as far as a system that they need to play, and he has the voice that a Giannis would listen to.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I don't think Bullhoser really has that voice. Cause I mean, other than a couple runs with Atlanta, he's really done nothing, to really deserve, some of the jobs or the job that he's gotten. So I think Rick Carlisle would be a good voice. He's known as a player's coach. The players like him, but he also knows how to, get them to do, play the game that he wants. So I think that'd be a good fit for him.
Yeah, definitely. When you want to win a title, sometimes it's best to bring in someone that has that experience. And Carlisle has a ring, you know what I'm saying, in Dallas. So, it's good to listen to a champion, that's been here
Yeah.
before, that knows, the situation. So that way the players will take to that, Which Van Gundy you talking? You talking Jeff or Stan?
Jeff is never going to coach again. His name pop up every year.
Yeah, I don't think Jeff Van Gundy wants to coach again. I think if he wanted to, he could because there's teams out there that possibly have reached out to him. I just don't think. I think he likes ABC and doing the games and ESPN, and it's relaxing. It's not as much stress, and as far as Stan goes, I think he's wearing out his coaching string. Like everywhere he goes is just it's not working,
He always wants too much power, and he has not earned that. I mean, what has he done? Yeah. What has he done to deserve this kind of power?
Yeah, that's true. And then like you complain when you was in Orlando, you complained, and then you went to Detroit and you complained some more, and you complained, and then you ended up in New Orleans, and you got a pretty good team out there. That's not a bad team, and I just don't look at it like you gave it your all and you put your all in there. You didn't really do nothing much with New Orleans, Granted,
so for me, Jeff Van Gundy is on the opposite spectrum of Tibbs. Tibbs did so much with nothing, whereas Van Gundy did nothing with so much. I mean, you got at least 4 dudes that are, proven talents that should have been able to play together. No one necessarily does the same things. No one's butting heads. There's not anybody fighting for minutes. There should have been plenty of minutes to go around. I mean, JJ Redick couldn't get out of there fast enough. That should tell you something. I mean, that's a dude who, knows, and he knows how to pick a franchise.
Right.
Teams to play for. They were saying the same thing about Danny Green last night. They say he got a great agent because he stayed, sign him with teams that got chances. But we'll talk about him a little bit later. Not Jeff Green. I said Jeff Green, right?
Nah, I think you said Danny.
Danny Green. Yeah, okay.
Green in Philly.
I'm tripping. Yeah, Philly. So yeah, Stan, I think he needs to be out of the league. I don't think he deserves another job. And if he gets another job versus, I don't want to play the race card here that early, but if he gets another job over someone who's more qualified and is of another race, that's even worse. I know a lot of people were mad when Steve Nash got the job. A lot of people were mad when Steve Kerr first got the job in Golden State. We should not have another situation where these white coaches who have done nothing are getting chances immediately before anybody else does. I mean, even the female coach, Becky Hammond. I mean, even she deserves a shot over some of these dudes who've continued to fail. So
I agree, but it's like when it comes, I always say Steve Kerr. It's not like Steve Kerr didn't have history. He may not have been a coach, but look at the teams he's been on. He's been on championship winning teams, and he's been assistant and part of championship winning teams. So I could see why you will roll the dice with him. As far as Steve Nash goes, I mean, come on, it's his first year, and look where he's at. Now, not saying the players don't have a part to do with that, but it's like, sometimes you roll the dice and that's what you feel. And you never know, man. We don't know what's going on behind the back and in the back of the scenes. I always say that. Like, we don't know what's being said. All we know is what they tell us. And the stuff that they tell us is to stir up some sort of racial tension. So I don't necessarily feel like Kerr was a bad coaching hiring. And so far, I don't feel Nash is a bad coach in hiring. So, now as far as these coaches that keep getting shots over and over and over again and not producing, then we could talk about those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as Kerr and Nash go, come on, they only been on one team. They've been coaching one team, and they haven't been coaching long. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have no issues with them. But I do agree, it's time for teams to start looking in other directions and start getting younger and start getting these former players that know what's going on. Because it seemed like these are the best coaches nowadays.
Yeah.
You look at Steve Kerr, for instance, Nash, you got Monty Williams in Phoenix. He was a former player. So you got these former players. Jason Kidd had his time and he knew what he was doing. And I believe he'll get another shot. It's not over for him. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You got teams looking at him.
I mean, if he turning down the Portland job, you got to think he got something else lined up.
Right. I feel everyone is just waiting till this stuff is over because you got teams that are still in the playoffs right now that may, like you stated, Milwaukee might be looking for another coach at the end of this year if they don't make it past Brooklyn. You never know what goes on in Philly. If they get bounced by Atlanta, you never know what the future leads for Doc Rivers. You know what I'm saying? He might have to go to the forefront and put someone else in as head coach. You got the Boston Celtics looking for a head coach. And with all the tension and issues that's going on over there, they may hire a black coach just to put out this fire, just to show people that, hey, look, we're not racist over here. When, this that. Like, they may do that. So you never know. We'll see what's going on. But like I said, I do feel, it's not over yet. A lot of teams are waiting for the season to be over. And once the season is over, a lot more things will unfold. Right now, you got about 7-8 teams that's without a coach. So there's going to be a lot of movement and a lot of hirings going on.
And I just want to go back to this right here, what my homie Derek said about Stan Van Gundy. He took the Magic to the finals. I'm gonna stop right there because that's what I want to talk about. Okay. He took the Magic to the finals, and his one single coaching decision is what cost the Magic having any kind of chance in that finals. I'm not saying they would have won it had he made a different decision, but he made a decision to let Jameer Nelson back in the lineup after being hurt for damn near the whole year, when Rafer Alston, Skip Tamalu, was having a career year and led that team to the playoffs, led them through the playoffs, and was playing amazing, had great chemistry with Dwight Howard, was the perfect type of point guard that team needed. And because that, Stan Van was sticking with his boy Jameer, who, was maybe a little overrated, but definitely was not healthy enough to be the starting point guard and ruin any chance that they had. So I've been on Stan's bad side since then. Terrible decision, Magic fans. If y'all have any positive thoughts about Stan after that, I don't know. Like, that's one of the worst things to ever happen to that franchise, in my opinion. That and Shaq leaving are probably the two biggest bad things to happen to that franchise.
Yeah, and then you got Penny getting hurt, so
yeah, that too. He said Nelson was an all-star that year, but after that he was hurt. You don't bring a player in who was hurt and is not healthy when you have someone who was playing at the level that Rafer Alston was playing at that point. The team chemistry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying you also got to look at all his other stops. It's not just like look how long ago that was in Orlando.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, so it's not like he went from Orlando to New Orleans. Like he had stops in other places. Like look what he did in Detroit. He was atrocious in Detroit, and he complained about lack of players. And you had these top-notch players in Blake Griffin. You had Blake Griffin when Blake Griffin was still in his prime somewhat. And you kind of changed him to that three-point shooter that everyone hated. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at other stops. And like I said, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like in the forefront, it's like, oh, he got fired. He didn't get a chance. But we don't know what these coaches are saying to these players and what they got going on behind the scenes. So he could be a real asshole in the locker room and back there to where these players are just not responding to it,
Clearly. That's clear. We're going to move on past Stan Van. There was a couple other coaching changes. We already touched on Portland's coach last week getting fired. Who else got fired? Somebody else got fired. Do you remember?
I think that was it. I think Carlisle. You had Scott Brooks in Washington.
Oh, yeah, Scott Brooks. That's what it was. Scott Brooks.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm surprised by that. I feel like he did the best that he could with what he had. But Washington as a entire organization is still a little bit lost. Still trying to find themselves from the disaster that was, what ended up being John Wall's career. They're still trying to climb their way back from that, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Who knows what that team will look like. We don't know if Russell Westbrook's still going to be there. We don't know if Bradley Beal's still going to be there. We don't know what that team's going to look like, so I can't even speculate who would be a good fit there. I do think that Scott Brooks falls in that category of dudes who don't necessarily need to get another chance right away. I think, like we talked about already, there's some fresh blood out there that, deserve it more right now. But we'll see. They'll probably not.
Had a lot of talent.
He
had tons of talent. In OKC, he had talent. In Washington, he's had talent. So it's not like he has these bum teams trying to take him somewhere. He just can't get the right combination, the right rotations, the right game plan for these teams. And that's what's hurting. It's definitely hurting.
Yeah, so we're not going to spend too much time on him. There will be more firings, as we know, changes coming, when the season ends. So, we'll obviously talk about that more. We want to talk about right now. We won't talk about the injuries, but I know first we both have opinions on this Chris Paul situation with COVID protocol. So let's talk about that first, and then we'll get into these injuries that is kind of the big news of really the playoffs. I'll let you go first.
Well, the initial report didn't have him testing positive. Then they came out this morning and said that he has tested positive. Although he's had the vaccine, he's still tested positive. And I mean, I'm not going to get into my personal opinions about this whole COVID issue and this whole vaccine situation. So I'm gonna just ignore that. But I just think it's bull. I'm not feeling it. I mean, you had an NBA player go out and break all sorts of protocols and rules, and there was not a blink of an eye. There was no hesitation to
Who
suspend
might you
him.
be talking about?
I mean, I don't want to throw names, but we all know who I'm talking about. This man went to a party where so-called everyone is vaccinated or whatever, whatever. And again, like I said, we don't know what goes on in the back. All we know is what goes on in the front. So of course they could tell us, yeah, he gave us a negative test and blah blah blah. But there was no thought about it, no hesitation. He played. There was no thinking of maybe, we should do this or we should do that. So the fact that you go to this Chris Paul situation and it's without hesitation, without any thinking, just protocol, bam, he's out indefinite, he can't play, and all this, that, and the third. Like, I just don't like the route that this took. They could have did it totally different. They could
Hmm.
have waited. They could have at least kept it under wraps for a couple of days. They could have even waited a couple of days and then tested him again to see what the situation was. And if he was still given a positive test, then you say something. But to do this now and have him, out indefinite is just bad. It's bad. So I really don't like it.
Yeah, I really don't. I had a very strong opinion at first when they just announced that it was protocol. I Since they're saying that he did test positive, my opinion has changed a bit. But I just, something smells fishy. I'll say that. It's just a little too convenient for me. That this team has went on the run that they went on, and he's doing the things that he's doing, and then all of a sudden, oh, now he got COVID. We know Chris Paul as one of the smartest players maybe ever to play the game. I think that translates into his regular life. And he's not going to be dumb enough to be in a situation or even put himself in a situation where catching COVID was even a possibility.
And
That's what
that's
I
the
would like
thing,
to
like
think.
when he
He
catches,
knows
like
what's on the line. Yeah.
he played one night, and then the next morning you come out with this report. Like it wasn't even a big timeline. Like I could see if it was 2-3 days later. Like what did he do from the time the game ended to the next morning when you reported this? Like I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Like I just don't get it, man. But like you said, some smell fishy, and it's not like we can really dig and see what's going on. We just got to take their word for it.
Yeah. And that's something that I have a hard time doing, something like this, especially because, even though, yeah, their round two is wrapped up, it looks like potentially maybe most of these other series are going to go 6 to 7 games. Well, they're all going to go at least 6. We
Right.
might get game sevens, so that saves him a little bit of time. But he's going to miss at least a game or two, at least, of the Western Conference Finals. And that to me just it's not cool, especially like we're gonna allude to with all these injuries that have already happened to take arguably one of the best performers in these playoffs out of it off of something like this. It don't feel right. I mean, if the man is vaccinated, you know that's a whole nother conversation too. But some don't seem right, and I think this is going to be one of those situations, in 10 years or so when Chris Paul's retired, that he's going to spill the beans on this one, what really went down. Because this isn't the
Oh,
first time that the NBA has interfered with his livelihood and his career. It just makes you think, like, what is it about Chris Paul that they do sometimes like to pick on him specifically, it seems like, with his career and the path that it takes. So, you know, um, it feels like it feels like we watching WWE or something. Like it
most
just seemed like
definitely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like I always felt like when it comes to sports, a lot of this stuff is rigged and set up and and then just like the WWE, you got some stars that just don't care. They go out there and break script, and you know what I'm saying. That's just what happens, But I do
KD is one
feel,
of those.
yeah, I do feel, the NBA tries its best to, keep things scripted and keep things going along a storyline. You know what I'm saying? So, but I honestly, I look at it like even if he misses game one, or I just hope he don't miss 2 games. If he misses 2 games of the Western Conference Finals, then that's gonna be big. If he
I
misses
mean,
one
really,
game, you know, they may be able to bounce back from that. But you
yeah,
know, I just don't hope he misses more than 1 game.
yeah. I mean, it's a whole nother thing because it looks like right now either team that they'll end up playing is going to be healthy. They still haven't really came out and said exactly, a timeline or what's going on with Hawaii. We still don't have a timeline on Mike Conley in Utah. So either way, it's a toss up. They're really the last. Phoenix is really the last healthy team left. They don't have any injuries to their main 9-10 players there that I'm aware of. Even Atlanta is missing DeAndre Hunter, which a lot of Atlanta fans will tell you is their best one-on-one defender and probably their third best player overall,
Right.
depending where you put John Collins and Bogdanovich in there, and and then Philly's got their problems. So it's just it's like they had to throw a bone at him, like, oh, y'all making this look too easy. We got to do something to throw a stick in the spokes, if you will, and see how you react to that. So I don't like it. It smells fishy. I hope that this is rectified some way. Again, I hope he don't miss more than 1 game. I think they could survive 1 game at home, really maybe 2 games at home, depending on who they play and depending on who is in or out for that other team. But I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well, I think if they play Utah, it'll be better because then you got the hopes of maybe Mike Conley not playing, and Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell will cancel out each other, and then you got the rest of those role guys doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? But a team like the Clippers, who seem to be getting more contribution from a point guard like Jackson, that's where Chris Paul's absence will come into play big time. So and
Mm-hmm.
then if they play the Clippers, the first 2 games would be in Phoenix, but if they play Utah, the first 2 games would be in Utah. So, they can possibly look to split that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Cleveland, I mean, the Clippers, you don't want to fall in an 0-2 hole with the first 2 games being in your home. Now you got to go
Yeah.
to LA and take at least 1 or 2 or even both of them. So
Yeah.
we'll see how this
And
plays out.
just imagine how good of a series that would be that at both teams at full health, uh, Utah and Phoenix. I mean, you got Booker versus Mitchell, CP3 versus Mike Conley. You got 2 big men, Ayton versus Gobert. That's matches. That's great matchups. I think that'd
Yeah,
be a great
definitely.
series, at full health. But we'll see what happens. So we've already kind of started talking into it. I just do want to take a pause to let everybody know that you are listening to Shoot Your Shot podcast. We are live talking NBA injuries, Chris Paul's COVID protocol. We're gonna touch a little more on the injuries, and then we're gonna go right into the playoffs. So we'll talk a little bit more about these injuries, and before we get into the games, the past 2 nights, and then the game tonight. LeBron, he sent that tweet out talking about the injuries, saying that pretty much they didn't have enough time off. I I don't know what it takes as far as physically to be an NBA player. If anybody would know, it's LeBron. I do think that what he's saying, holds a lot of weight. It's showing that these guys clearly did not get enough time off, to rest their bodies, and a lot of dudes are out. it's definitely tarnishing a good year of playoffs. I mean, I feel like last year the bubble, the playoffs weren't good. The finals wasn't good at all. We're kind of getting robbed of what could have been another great round of playoffs after that, other than these injuries. How do you feel about that?
I just think this is LeBron trying to steal more spotlight because he's not in the playoffs. Like, dude, shut up. Watch the games. I don't attribute any time off as the reason for these injuries because come on, we talking months down the line. Like I can see if these guys was getting hurt in the beginning of the season. I clearly blame hydration for one, and just the physical um, stretching and working out like that. Like I do think that with the money that these guys make, they don't put that much effort into you know, working out and everything is strength when they should be working on more conditioning and stretching and being limber and loose. Um, I just feel like that's what a lot of these players are doing today. Gary Payton said the other day that, back in their day, you know, um, the training was different. These guys were those
Hmm.
guys were playing 82 games. Like they would rarely miss games. They off season training was different. They during the season training was different to where they worked on a lot more stretching, a lot more conditioning, and a lot more ways to stay loose. Whereas these players are winning a title or their season is ending and they're taking 2 months off, 3 months off of really doing nothing. They going out, they partying, they having a good time, they going overseas, they going to different countries, and then a week before, 2 weeks before the NBA season start, now they want to lock in and lift weights and train and do all this, that, and third. And yeah, your body's gonna break down as in time. So I don't think it has anything to do with the time off because it's not like they played the full season and then had this short time off and had to come back. Think about it. They had almost 5 months off in the bubble. So, they had about 5 months off, came played in the bubble for what, a month and a half, and then had
Hmm.
2 months off to come back. So if anything, you have more time off to do nothing to get your body ready. And it ain't like the bubble featured everyone and everyone was involved. There are so many players and so many teams. The Clippers got bounced early last year. So you're gonna blame Kawhi's short period rest of as a reason for him being hurt? No, he was hurt because during the fast break, Joe Ingles bumped him. That had nothing to do with basketball. He just clearly bumped him, and he landed. He landed awkward. That's what that injury comes from. So it's a lot of injuries. You talk about Anthony Davis. You think Anthony Davis injury has something to do with short rest? No, he's always hurt. He's hurt every year, whether it's a full season of rest or less rest. Like it doesn't matter how much rest you get if you're not properly training and stretching and getting your body in NBA shape. Then no matter what you do, you're gonna get hurt. Mike Conley's another guy. He stay hurt. Look at his record over the last few 5 6 years. Like he's always hurt. He's never a guy that's giving you 82 games a season. Kawhi is the same thing. Kawhi is never giving you 82 games every season. He's always hurt. So these guys that are hurt, that are on the list of injured stars, they always hurt. Kyrie Irving, he's always hurt. He's been getting hurt since college. He played 4 games in Duke. So you talk about a season that's 32 games. You couldn't even play 32 games. Out of 32 games, you play like 4 of them. He's always hurt. Other than James Harden is the only player that's pretty much on this list that doesn't get hurt often and has been
Yeah.
giving 82 games full season, every year, full seasons. This is his only time that he's gotten hurt. And you can't blame short rest because where was Houston last year in the bubble? They wasn't there. So he got enough time to rest. So no, I don't blame short rest or starting the season fast and all this stuff. I don't blame that. Nah, Tell LeBron, shut up, sit down and watch the rest of these playoffs, and stop trying to steal spotlight, man. Like goddamn, it seemed like ever since the Lakers got bumped, every week this guy is on Twitter or Instagram or somewhere saying something so we could talk about him. Like, shut the fuck up, go sit down somewhere and enjoy the playoffs like everyone else. Like Jesus,
So
man.
I only brought it up the way I did to make it seem like I was in agreement with LeBron, so I could get that exact rant.
Yeah.
I actually agree. I'm not comparing myself because I didn't make it anything close to the NBA. But when I played ball in high school, we had a total of 2 weeks off of the year. We had the first week of school off, and the week after, the season ended off. Other than that, we were conditioning, training, playing ball, doing some sort of something basketball related all year round, whether that was going to playing AAU tournaments, rec, PAL, whatever the fuck we had to do to be playing ball, we were doing it. Because that's the best way to stay in shape and stay healthy is to be ready, be in shape, constantly being in play basketball shape. I think a lot of what has to do with why James Harden is hurt this year is because of how big he let himself get. We've seen those pictures when he was at Houston. He's trying to make a point, and at the end of the day, it's hurting him because he was big. I mean, that man was damn near fat. I mean,
Right.
completely out of shape. And now, what's his injury? A hamstring injury because he probably pressed that bitch so hard, not only to play in these games, but to get back in a decent shape.
Right.
And he did it fast too. So, it just don't make any sense, the whole rest thing. I mean, how many years do these dudes after the NBA season go play in the Olympics or go play with some kind of world tournament?
Yeah, that's why they need to stop. They need, like, if you need all this rest and you need all this time to get ready, then don't do these things. Don't say nothing. Don't play. Don't play in the Olympics. Don't play overseas. Don't play summer league. Don't do none of that stuff. Take that time to really get your body ready. But I
dudes
guarantee
back in
you,
the day going to the Rucker, playing street ball. I mean, how
yeah,
many summers did we see
guarantee you.
Kobe, Vince, all these dudes was going playing, EBC. I don't even know if that still exists, but these dudes they were just playing ball. Jamal Crawford always has that big tournament in Seattle. Like these dudes are just playing,
and they all
playing basketball.
Playing basketball. It has nothing to do with rest. It has nothing to do with taking. They just want rest so they can do bullshit. So they can do rec time. So they can go to strip clubs and college games and hang out with their buddies and go to clubs and drink and get your shit and stay ready, because when the NBA season start, that's it.
League, yeah.
Then you got players that wait, like I said, they wait to the last minute. I can guarantee you right now, Anthony Davis ain't doing no training. He's chilling right now. He's sitting in his crib, relaxing. He gonna wait till it's 2-3 weeks before the season. That's when you're gonna start seeing all these Instagram videos of him lifting weights and training and getting wrecked. And the same thing gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And now, as far as this whole money thing goes, the NBA wanted to start up fast so they can get this money. Here's the thing, though. They can't do nothing without you. They can't force you to play. So if they wanted to start up the season tomorrow and you're not ready, you can say, I'm not ready, I'm not playing. So if you choose to play, that's your choice, just like the bubble. A lot of NBA players didn't want to play in the bubble, but due to the fact that certain specific players wanted to play, these other players had no other choice but to play. Because if you didn't play, you didn't get paid. But these guys want to play so they can get paid. Before this season started, LeBron was the first one that was saying, "Well, I'm not playing. I'm going to miss the first few weeks of the season." But what happened? Game 1, he was there. Game 2, he was there. Game 3, he was there. He didn't miss a game until he got hurt. So, and then when you get hurt, you want to blame, we didn't have enough time get ourselves together and do all this, that, and the third. Like I ain't buying it, man. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, it definitely sound like a lot of excuses flying around, but like you said, it's on these dudes. I'm all for taking a vacation. After the season, take you a week or two off, go to Cabo or wherever these dudes go, and enjoy yourself. You got all this money, enjoy it. But then you got to get right back to it. But we'll see. The science of the game is supposed to be so different now that all that stuff back in the day isn't as necessary. But I think that's proving to not be the case.
And it's funny that the science and doctors and all of that stuff supposed to be better now, and these guys miss more games now.
Yeah.
And what they did, like Larry Bird, Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, these guys wasn't missing 20, 30 games every year. They wasn't load managing and doing all this, that, and the third. Like, I don't get it.
Well, I want to go on to these playoffs because it's already been 45 minutes, and I don't want us to go off crazy tonight. The game tonight is the Bucks and the Nets. I just want to talk about this real quick because I really want to talk about what KD did last game. So, who you got tonight? Are the Nets finishing it off, or do the Bucks force a game 7?
I think the Nets finish it off. Based on what KD did last game and the fact that Harden might be a little better tonight. I just think the spirit of Milwaukee is done.
Yeah.
Well, that's not my fault if players aren't physically and mentally tougher today. Like, hey, that you what the fuck? You want everything? You getting $30-40 million a year, and you want us to baby you and cut the season short? Like, get out of here with that shit. But anyway, I honestly think, I think the Nets finish it off tonight. Like I said, I think what KD did, it kind of broke their spirits because it ain't like the Nets was in competition the whole night.
Yeah.
Milwaukee was up by 16 at one point.
It was a meltdown.
Yeah, I turned the game off because I honestly thought the Nets was going to lose. But then I kept checking, and every time I kept checking, that lead just kept shrinking. And I'm like, yo, if they get it down to like 7 before the fourth quarter or 6, it could be ugly. And that's exactly what happened. And I just think it took all the spirit out of Milwaukee. I think, like I said, I think you get better play from James Harden, and I do feel you get a surprise game out of Joe Harris tonight. Finally, that with what KD doing, and I think Blake Griffin to do what Blake Griffin normally does. Yeah, and then I also feel like Milwaukee is going to try to do too much, and it's going to hurt them instead of sticking to their plan and sticking what they good at. They're going to try to do too much, and it's going to backfire. And I just think Milwaukee's going to lose, but it's going to be another close one. And I do got KD going for like 40 again.
So I agree. I got the Nets winning tonight. Like you said, I think KD kind of took their soul. I don't think they got much left. I think tonight, like I said, Giannis needs to guard KD. They said on ESPN earlier, I said KD's worst field goal percentage over the past 8 seasons is when Giannis is guarding him. So you got to take that. You got to take that challenge. You got to do what KD did last game. You got to play outside yourself. You got to have the game of your career, and you got to do what maybe you're not, comfortable doing. You got to guard KD all 48 minutes. You got to play all 48. You got to drop 30. You got to get 15 boards, maybe 5 assists, and you got to play defense on KD. That's the only chance the Bucks have of winning. With that said, it's not happening. It's not happening. I do. Oh, look who popped up.
We got somebody. We got our co-host back.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's going on there, buddy?
I had to get
you spelled Ben wrong.
I had to get my annual checkup. I hope you guys are out there getting your physicals and checkup because health is wealth. Just want to throw that out there.
Hey, tell NBA players that, man. They getting paid $35 million to
I
ignore
can't tell
that
them
shit.
that.
So, but
So
yeah, you still Ben
Vic, right
Simmons
now
wrong.
we talking predictions for the game tonight. You think the Nets close out tonight?
Yeah, the Nets close it out tonight. I think the Soul left Milwaukee game 5. It's
So
over.
we all in agreement on that. We're not going to spend another minute on it because I want to give KD his flowers. Round of applause if we had a sound box. That man did exactly what I think all three of us said he needed to do. I think I said he needed to drop 50. What he had 49. I don't think any of us thought he was going to do it to the level he did it. But I mean, that was an all-time great performance in the playoffs. Period. Maybe definitely top 10, maybe top 5 all-time performance. In a playoff series on a game that they had to win. I'm gonna let y'all go because I'll go on forever on how amazing that was to watch.
I loved it because there were so many naysayers and so many people doubting him, and so many people that wanted to see him fail. So I think the game came at a beautiful time. Um, I think he did what he needed to do and more.
Mm-hmm.
He took the game over in the fourth. He had 20 points in the fourth quarter. He hit dagger shot after dagger shot, and it was nothing Milwaukee can do. Nothing. Like they
Nothing.
couldn't do anything. Like they were totally lost when it came to guarding him and trying to stop him. So I loved every second of it. It was a beautiful thing to watch. Like I said, I turned the game off, but once the game got into the fourth quarter and the Nets was right there, I said, "Yeah, I got to watch this now." And I was happy that I saw what KD did because, like I said, there was just so many people looking for him to fail and hoping that he fails, and he answered every phone call that came to him.
Yeah, I mean he literally. I mean you couldn't have asked for anything more. I mean, say what we want about the Jeff Green. Without the game Jeff Green has, they do probably still end up losing. But KD did everything he could to get that W. Go ahead, Vic.
Oh no, I agree with everything you guys said. I mean, you just gotta relish in the moment. But what I don't like is all the criticism and all the hate. You know where it comes from? Just me looking at the blogs and all of this. It's like the LeBron James fans just want everybody to fail. And that's all I seen in blogs and comments and can KD do this? Can KD do that? Oh, Kyrie's injured, good for him. Oh, Kawhi's injured, good for him. Like, what is wrong with you LeBron James fans? Why are y'all so toxic? Like, is he paying y'all? It's disgusting. It's really disgusting that these fans hate everybody else. And it's just disgusting reading comments in all these blogs. Oh, KD can't do this. KD can't do that. And he went out there and he did it.
He did it.
And they still make excuses. Well, it wasn't a closeout game. And shut the fuck up and appreciate greatness while you're looking at it. I don't get it. You fans are fucking idiots. And I'm talking about LeBron James fans only, not NBA fans. Not me, not Junior, not Joe. LeBron James fans, you're idiots and you're pathetic. And you make me sick. You're toxic. And I hate all y'all. I'm sorry. Ran over. Sorry.
Tell them how you really feel, boy. Tell them how you really feel.
I totally agree. You had guys even clowning Kyrie Irving when he got hurt. It was just sad. It was sickening.
It's pathetic.
And, like again, when the Lakers lost to the Suns, it's not that we wanted to see LeBron lose. We wanted to see him go out swinging. And that's the part that pissed me off is he didn't go out swinging. He didn't go out fighting. He practically rolled over and played dead. And that's not what we wanted. We didn't want to see him fail. We actually talked about him putting up a game like this. Like, yo, you're going to go out, man. Go out swinging. If Brooklyn would have lost and KD would have still had that type of game, he'd have got my respect anyway because he went out swinging. And that's what that's all we look for. When that time comes and your time is about to be gone and you're about to get bounced up out of here, go out fighting, man. Don't just roll over, play dead, and say that's it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not gonna say. I mean, I wanted to see him lose due to the fact of his fans, because what happens is when he loses, it's never his fault. And I just wanted to say, like, what are you gonna blame it on now? You know what I'm saying? Now that he did what he did, what else can you blame it on? The man didn't play great.
Davis was injured, and we didn't have David Lillard and all of this other.
And my thing is the injury. They always saying LeBron was hurt. LeBron was hurt. LeBron was hurt. He wasn't hurt when he was showboating, jumping all over the place, catching alley-oops and dunking on everybody. Like, where was the hurt at? When you caught the alley off the backboard from Caruso and banged it and celebrated, where was your hurt at? When you was backing Crawford down and you was giggling and Drummond was on the sideline teasing him and shit, and you did the up and under layup and you was all happy and celebrating. Where was the injury at then? You wasn't hurt. You wasn't crying hurt. You cry hurt when you lose. And that's the stuff I don't like. You know what I'm saying?
It's just pathetic. It's like when LeBron plays is injured. Oh man, LeBron didn't have his players, man. That's why we lost. But when y'all played Miami in the finals and Miami didn't have their players, oh yeah, LeBron's the greatest. They won. Woohoo. So like, come on, bro. Get out of here.
Anyway, let's move on. This ain't a Bron show.
We ain't got enough time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just wrap it up with saying kind of what I said, just to reiterate. The game that we wanted LeBron to have and the game that KD did have is the type of game that Giannis is going to have tonight. And we're gonna really see what he made of tonight. You know, he got the MVPs, he got the individual shit. What are you made of now? It's do or die. You need to come up with a special game. You know, like I said, it's gonna have to be 30 plus, 10 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists, and you're gonna have to guard KD all game. You're gonna have to, because if not, you know, ain't no tired tomorrow. If tomorrow you have all the time in the world to sleep, tomorrow you lose. So, you know, that's what you got to do. So, unfortunately, none of us see that happening. But you know, I would like to see it. You know, as much as I enjoyed watching what KD did, I would enjoy just as much watching Giannis do it tonight. But I don't see it happening.
I would love a back and forth slugfest.
Yes.
Even if KD go out and drop 35, 40, you got to match him. You know what I'm saying? You got to match him. You can't stop him. You got to match him, and you got to make sure you do what you got to do to get your team in.
Yep. But we'll see what happens. Again, I'd love to see it. I hope to see it. But as we found out last night, anything could happen. So last night, Philly was up 26 points at one point and ended up losing to the Atlanta Hawks by 3. Vic's boy Ben Simmons again had another terrible game. I don't understand how you can.
Oh, don't worry. Vic is gonna find a way to like, you know, not blame Ben. And
of course,
this has nothing to do with Ben Simmons. And you know, Ben did his part. Like,
and right.
You know,
don't get me wrong. When Ben dunked on Capella, I was like, oh shit, he might have him a game. This might be it. Maybe that'll wake his ass up. And what happened? Nothing. He ain't score another bucket. Like, come on. Like, this dude getting paid way too much. He got way too much to be. He paid damn near 40 minutes and did pretty much nothing. Like, what are we really talking about when we're talking about this dude? Like, 8 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. Like a dude that's held to his caliber, that's not a stat line in the playoffs. I don't know how you defend that, but you can try, Vic. You about to sound like a LeBron fan if you try too hard, though. I'm gonna let you know.
I can't defend it. He played horrible. I'm not even gonna sit here and fake the funk like he was out there amazing, doing this, that, and the third. No, he played horrible. Both ends, offense, defense. He just looked uninterested.
No effort.
That's what it is.
No effort.
It just looked like he's just not interested in half the time. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's not his style because he can't run because you can't run with Embiid. I don't know what it is. It might be the coaching, but he just looked uninterested on the court on both ends. I know he's a bum. I know.
I'll tell you what it is.
He's a bum.
It's the money. He already got that. He already got that bag.
It could be that too.
Yeah, like what's the sense? I keep telling people, like, in this era, in this day we live in, you know, and this is what Jordan was saying. When Jordan said it, people thought he was hating on these young guys. It's not that he's hating. He wants people to earn it first before getting it. Like, you're going to give some dude that's 2 years in the league $34 million a year, and he ain't done nothing yet. And they like, oh, they giving it to him because of his potential. What happens when the potential don't come? Or what happens that when you give this to him and now he has no passion for potential? He has no gear to jump. Like, for one, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Cypress Hills Project, one of the roughest projects in East New York, Brooklyn, right? I grew up having not much of nothing. So now you take a person like me and you say, I'm going to give you $35 million for potential. Once that money, that's it. This is what I was waiting for. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I was practicing and putting in my all for these millions. Now you giving it to me and I didn't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything now. And the problem is nobody's calling him out on it. You got his head coach saying, oh, you guys don't see what he does. He does so many things that's so much important to the game. And I'm waiting. Like what? Like, what is he doing? Trae Young is lighting you up. So it ain't like you handling it on the defensive end. You ain't putting much effort on offense. You averaging like 11 points a game in this series. Like I don't get it. Like, what is it during the regular season? It's not like you Giannis during the regular season where you dropping 30, 40 points. I just don't get it. Like what is it about your game that excites everybody, that got everybody so hyped? Like, look at these numbers. 98% of his field goals are within 10 feet.
Paint, yeah, it's in the paint.
98%. 98. Get it, like out of 100 shots, 98 of them are in the paint.
GOAT status.
So that means you taking 2 shots outside of the paint. You are shooting 52% in the paint area. Anything outside the paint area, 38%, and it gets worse. From 3-point range, you are shooting less than 10%. From 20 feet, you are shooting less than 10%. And then, if we want to dig, let's dig into playoffs. So far, 32 playoff games this man has played, right? Out of 32 playoff games, he has 4 games over 20 points. Let that sink in. 32 games under your belt. He has 4 of them with over 20 points. All right, so now let's say, okay, well, he's not there to score points. He's there to assist and grab rebounds, right? 32 games, he has 6 games with 10 or more assists. So that means 26 games you ain't even dropping 10 assists. So what are you assisting on? He has more games under 10 points than he does with over 20 points.
I mean, I can't even begin to try to defend it. I mean, that game last night was a difference of 3 points. You mean to tell me that this dude, who's a supposed all-star, supposed superstar, supposed defensive player of the year candidate, supposed all-NBA dude, couldn't get you an extra 4 points?
The man was 4 for 14 from the free throw line.
He had an off night. That's all. He'll be back.
That's a regular night for him.
He'll be back.
We'll see. He gonna have one more chance to prove it. But I don't know. In that game, it's probably tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, and it's sad because this is what they listen. If I would have told you, Embiid, what Embiid had last night, 39.
39, I think
39,
6 or something.
So if I told you Embiid was going to have 39 points and you was going to get 36 from Seth Curry, you'd have been like, that's an easy win for Philly.
Yeah.
Put that in the books. That's easy. Nope. It's a loss.
And Tobias Harris also did not show up. He scored 4 points.
That's
he
right.
Needs to play better.
That's right. It ain't just on Ben. Tired of the Ben slander. Tobias only had 4 points. Ben had more.
Tobias Harris ain't getting paid $35 million.
Yep.
He get paid enough.
He ain't getting paid $35 million.
You got to show up too.
Ben Simmons is supposed to be your second best player, your second option.
He'll be there.
He's your second best player on the team. He's your second option. He's supposed to make things happen. And he didn't. And he never does. He never does.
But so on the right side, now go ahead, Joe. JR.
I was gonna say, do y'all have Philly winning game 6?
No, I don't have Philly winning game 6.
Damn right I got Philly winning
game 6. You had your chance. That game was in Philly last night.
Got to stomp it like Skip. Book it. Game 6, Ben Simmons with 10 plus and 10.
You had your chance. You had your chance to go up. This, to be honest, this series should have been done. Atlanta should have been done 4 games to 1.
You heard it here first. Ben is putting up a triple-double.
Yeah, 10, 10, and 10. 10, 20, 10, and 10.
20, That's 10, and 10. Just
10, 10, and 10.
Y'all make sure y'all tune into Tuesday so I can tell y'all that I told you.
Put it like this. Put it like
20,
this.
10, and 10.
If Ben Simmons dropped 20.
Thank you, Vic. What's that?
If Ben Simmons dropped 20, 10, and 10 and Philly wins, we will have a special live broadcast Saturday just to make Vic happy, just so he can preach and talk about Ben Simmons. We ain't got to wait till Tuesday.
Just get ready, y'all. Just make sure y'all tune in Saturday. Telling y'all here now.
I'm so confident. I'm so confident that that's not going to happen that I already have plans on Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guess you're going to have to cancel.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? I hope for him that he can do something. But even still, can he do it again game 7?
Yes.
Nope.
He's going to have 2 triple-doubles back to back. Y'all heard it here first. Vic Bayless is telling you 20, 10, and 10. Stomp the desk. 20, 10, and 10.
Well, we'll see. You putting anything down on that? You putting any money on that?
Oh, no, I'm broke, baby.
Because if not, you don't truly believe it.
Nah, my baby, I had to buy the baby diapers. I'm broke.
Oh, man. You better not take away from them babies, man. You crazy. Yeah. But, I don't see it happening. I see Atlanta winning. They're going to close it out. And it's going to be sad. Because Philly shouldn't have had no problems with this team. It shouldn't have been no problem.
Shouldn't have.
It should have been a 4-1, easy. Get them out of here. Bring on Brooklyn or Milwaukee, and it's sad. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with that. That's the only way he get a triple double.
You guys are so disrespectful.
Yeah,
It's real today. All right, cool.
Tell him to grab me. Tell him to pick me up one from Burger King as well.
No,
I'll take mine with extra cheese. Like,
listen,
man.
I'm playing all of y'all in 2K later with Philly. Y'all gonna see what Ben Simmons do.
Oh man, you mean what? You gonna make one? You gonna create a Ben Simmons?
Not even.
Boost them stats up.
Yeah, boost them stats up. You gonna put the sliders?
Edit the attributes.
How they say? Put the sliders all the way up. Like,
gonna have to edit the attributes.
Like, get Ben Simmons out of here, yo. I can't wait, y'all. I really hope nobody gives him a contract extension because he doesn't deserve one. Not until he shows some sort of progress. And I don't hate on nobody's money. You want to get money, get money. You want to give you money, get that money. But right now, until he works on something during this off season and it shows during the year, I wouldn't give him nothing. He's done.
Don't worry.
He's an overhyped Lonzo Ball.
He gonna prove all y'all wrong. I can't wait.
Lonzo Ball better than him right now. As of right now, June 17th, 7-11 in the evening, Lonzo Ball is better than Ben Simmons.
I can't wait till he prove all y'all wrong, and I'll be right here with my cigar.
Anyway, what's next, JR?
So we just gonna get real quick. I just want to get y'all predictions because we won't be back before it happens. Predictions for Clippers Jazz. Do the Jazz force a game 7? Yes or no?
No.
No.
You gotta know, Joe.
Before we dig, I gotta give Paul George some props as well. He did his thing. He went out there last night and proved the pandemic P lovers wrong by dropping 37 and leading that team to a victory in Utah, and nobody had them doing that. With Kawhi out, they pretty much wrote the Clippers off, and it was all you heard was pandemic P, pandemic P, pandemic P. And he had a hell of a game last night. Shout out to that whole Clippers team and Tyronn Lue for showing that he is a decent coach and he do need some respect on his name.
Gosh, I hate it all, man.
So with that being said, the same thing with the Milwaukee Bucks is the same thing with pretty much all them teams. Milwaukee, Philly, and Utah fucked up all by losing important game 5 and letting them teams jump up 3-2, and the Clippers will close it out. They'll win game 6 at home to beat Utah 4-2. I just feel Utah blew their chance. They had their chance, even though Kawhi is set to miss the rest of this series and possibly the conference finals. I just think Utah blew it. They had game 5 at home. It was there for the taking. Mitchell didn't show up. He didn't play a good game. And the rest of the Utah team just let one slide through their hands. So I got the Clippers winning game 6 and closing that series.
So I'm going to make my pick real quick, just because it seems like we've all agreed this entire episode other than on Ben Simmons. I'm going to take Utah. They force a game 7. Mitchell has a bounce back game, and that's it.
It's not
plain. Just for a little competition between us.
It's not Mitchell that you're worried about. You know Mitchell's gonna score, but Rudy Gobert hasn't had a Rudy Gobert game where he's putting up 16 points with 18 rebounds. He hasn't done it.
I'll tell you this: Rudy Gobert has a better game 6 than Ben Simmons.
Book it
here.
Book
it right here.
Pound the table, book it.
It's booked.
I tell you who's gonna have a better game than both of them. Joe Harris tonight. Book it.
I said the same thing. Joe Harris is gonna break out his slump tonight.
So you mean he's gonna make 3 shots tonight?
Joe Harris, 21 points tonight.
I tell you one thing, he'll have more than RJ.
Oh,
I was waiting for the cheap RJ shot. I feel like that's got to come once a show.
Once a show, right? Yeah, but
RJ already better than Simmons, so it's what it is.
Yo,
He is.
Try, man. Simmons
He improved from year 1 to year 2 more than Ben's improved from his college to now.
That's a lot, but we could
and that's all that I'm gonna say on that. This has been the Shoot Your Shot podcast. We appreciate y'all once again, everybody in the chats. Y'all, some great input. We'll be back. Probably not Saturday, but maybe we'll be back Saturday.
Oh, we'll be back
Saturday. I doubt it, but you can for sure catch us on Tuesday. We do have a special guest in store for y'all next Thursday. Not gonna tell y'all who it is, but we will have a guest next Thursday that's going to talk some NBA playoffs with us and a couple other things. And maybe we might have a couple more legendary performances to talk about, or we'll have a couple legendary stinkers to talk about. Who knows?
It won't be bad.
We'll see. Appreciate everybody. Y'all have a good weekend. Watch the Euros. Go Italy.
Watch the Euros, UFC Fight Night this Saturday. It'll be on ESPN Plus. If you have ESPN Plus, you can watch that. It's not a pay-per-view event, so tune into that Saturday night, 10 p.m.
Don't forget to watch the game tonight. Don't forget to watch the game tonight. Joe Harris goes off 21 points tonight. It's going to be big. Let's go Brooklyn.
Ben Simmons, 20, 10, and 10. You heard it here first.
20 turnovers.
Go Bear better than all the other ones.